everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so happy to have you here today. Now in today's tutorial, we are actually going to be using our brand new Wecreat 10 watt laser, and it comes in such a cute color. It is pink. Now they sent me this laser, so I want to give them a huge shout out and a thank you for it. It is so cute. We're going to make two different crafts with it. I'm going to show you how to cut some wood, paint it, and you can then engrave it once you've painted it. And then I'm going to show you really quickly how to do a cute little jewelry piece, because if you get the 2 watt IR laser head, it's super easy to change it out and it's really easy to make jewelry with. So I just wanted to show you a couple things that you can do with this 10 watt laser. If you want more in-depth tutorials, let me know in the videos comments, and I will absolutely be making some more videos with this. I really love using it. It is super simple. I'll link it down below as well as all of the products that we're going to be using in this video. So if you want to make the same stuff, you absolutely can. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is set this up. So I need to make sure to put in the grates that go into the laser, as well as the little bed that protects your surface. So the bed that protects your surface slides under your laser. It's kind of like a flat bed, and there's a little handle in the front. So you slide that under the front of your laser, and you want to make sure you get it lined up with the inside of your laser. And then you can put your grates in. You have 2 separate sides to your grates, and you're going to put them in one at a time, and they'll sit on top of the rails that go along the back and the front of your laser. It's very easy to set this up. Then you can do all of the things like plugging it in and all of that. I just prefer to set the center and like the inside parts up before I do any of the electrical stuff. We're going to be using the brand new pink one. I'm so excited. So I'm going to connect to my computer with my USB, which you can see here. It says creator on USB. The USB is going to give you a much more stable connection. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn on my laser so that it'll fully connect. And it might take a second to fully connect. It's going to make a couple beeping noises on your computer probably. But once it's connected, we'll be able to start working with our design. Now that the laser's on and connected, I'm going to click the refresh button, and that should bring up the screen that we want to see because we want to lay out our design onto our material. Now that it shows my material, I'm going to be able to add the designs that I want to this really, really easily. I'm just going to use this heart shape that I got. It's an SVG, so I'm just going to drag it and drop it over into my file. Now it's black, and I find that a little hard to see, so I'm just going to change it to pink so we can see it a little bit better on the screen. And we're going to be making a little heart banner for Valentine's Day. So what I'm going to do is size this down a bit. I don't want my heart any bigger than about 3 inches. So I can go up here to the top where it says scale, and I can change my height and my width. So I'm going to change my width to exactly 3. And I think that's a good size for our hearts. I don't want anything really, really big, but I do want it to be noticeable. And I also want to cut out more than one heart at a time. So what I'm going to do is select my heart and right click on it and copy it. And then I can right click and paste it. And then I can put multiples of these hearts. And what's cool about this is I can also like flip it upside down. So I might be able to fit them a little bit closer together. It just depends on kind of where I'm laying them out on my page here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and paste another one here. And I think that's probably good enough for now as far as our hearts, but we can also like move them over a little bit, and I can get them closer to this original cut. And we'll make sure that we get everything really well adjusted before we start cutting, but I just want to make sure I kind of get them lined up where I want them. And I think that looks pretty good. I don't want to do a really large banner. I just want to do something small, and we're going to paint these. It's going to be really cute. Now that I have them all laid out, what I'm going to do, I'm going to refresh this one more time. I always just do a double check in case I bumped anything. I don't think I did, just to make sure everything's going to fit here. And then I'm going to go ahead and close the lid on my laser. And I know you guys can't see me doing that. I don't think you need to see me close the lid, but you'll see up here at the top, it'll tell you that your lid is closed. Now I like to close my lid before I do anything else just because it's a personal thing, but I'm going to select my layer here, and I actually want to just change it to cut. And then what I'm going to do is up here at the top, I'm going to change my setting. So I'm using wood, but I am using a little bit of, I wouldn't call it cherry wood necessarily. It's not balsa wood, but I do find that either the basswood or the cherry wood settings will work for this. I change it to 5 millimeters. I'm going to do this at power 100, and the speed I'm going to try it around like I'm going to go like maybe, I'm thinking like 50, and we'll see how it does. Sometimes you just got to test stuff to see what works. So I'm going to hit confirm here, and I've got to select my my material thickness, click confirm. And then when I click on my item, I'm going to have to change my power settings. So I'm going to change it to 100. And then the speed, like I said, I think we'll try it around like 60, 70, somewhere in there. I think that'll be a good way to check it. And then all I'm going to do here is click start. And it's going to go ahead and process our material. I always just double check, make sure everything looks like it's good. And then from here, you can click send and make sure your lid is closed, and we'll press the button on the machine to get started. I did end up doing 3 passes to cut through the heart, so just be aware. And I do recommend doing some test cutting before you cut like a bunch of the same design or whatever. That way you're not wasting a ton of materials if something doesn't go right. And then I'm just going to paint mine with some acrylic paint before we move on to our next step. I just did a couple of coats of the acrylic paint. This is just paint from like Michael's, but it works really, really well. And this cute pink color was perfect. So now that we've painted our hearts, what we want to do is connect our machine again to our computer by plugging in that USB cord. I've got my laser on already, and I loaded the hearts into the laser bed, which you'll see in just a second. Now what I want to do is hit refresh, and that's going to have the camera take a look at my laser bed so that it can see what I've added. And you can see the little hearts. This right here is just a little scrap. It's fine because we're just going to be engraving on these. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some text to these, and I'm just going to add 2 or 3 letters. So I'm just going to do L. Oops, not like that. We're going to do L, and we can change the font on these if we want to. It's really up to you and what you want them to look like. There's not really a right or a wrong way to do these. So you choose a font that you like, whatever you want to do. You can use your system fonts. You can use the fonts that they already have. They only have 10 fonts, but I'm going to use my system fonts for this. Now you can do whatever style you want. It's up to you. Like I said, do whatever makes you happy. There's not really a right or a wrong style font to choose. I'm going to choose something that's a little bit thicker, nothing too crazy, but I do want it to be able to be seen on my pink hearts that we painted. So I'm just going to scroll through a second, find something I like, and then I will show you what I chose. I'm going to go with birthday balloon. I always think this one's just adorable. So first thing I'm going to do is take my letter over to my heart and size it. And then I'm just going to simply use a copy, a Control C and a Control V to make the same letter. And then I'm going to make this say love, but with the Louvre spelling. So then again, I'm just going to scoot this over until I'm happy where it's at on the heart. And then I'm just going to paste the letter again. And then we're going to change this one over to the letter V. And then again, I'm just going to go ahead and center this on my heart. And I'm pretty happy with where those are sitting. I think that looks pretty good. Now, here's the thing. I've got 3 layers here, and I can go each one at a time, or I could have it go all the way across, but I think I'm going to do each one at a single time, so I don't need to merge these. Now for this, I want to fill engrave these, and I know for a fact that I do need to turn the speed down for this to engrave well. So I usually go with a speed of about like 25-ish, 30. Got to kind of play around with it to see what works, but so far that's been like the one that's worked best for me. Then I'm going to close the lid on my laser, and I'm going to click start here on my screen. And then it's going to give us a processing time. I'm going to hit start here, and then I'm going to take you over to the laser, and we're going to hit the button and let it start engraving. You only get so many trips around the sun. I want to say forever, we could be good together. Guess mystery loves company. Late than never, you know we could do better. So take a chance and run with me. Everywhere we go, we turn to paradise. Now, once our design is done doing its fill engrave, we can go ahead and pull this out. Now, I will say that we will need to clean these up a bit. You can see they're a little like dirty, but that's okay. I'm going to allow this to sit for a little bit, and then I'm just going to take a simple like a baby wipe or maybe even some Awesome Cleaner and just kind of clean it up. And you can always repaint a little bit if you need to, but then we're going to get everything strung together. But I think they came out really, really cute. I'm going to go ahead and string together our little garland. So I'm just using some beads that I found at the Dollar Tree. And then I have some fun little yarn tassels that I made with some Red Heart yarn, really inexpensive, super easy. I'll link the video that showed me how to make those down below for you if you want to make some as well. That string is just from, I think, Target, but you can get that anywhere. And I just kind of strung it together. Now I did make a mistake, so if you see it, let me know because you can see it in the next clip. But I just used hot glue and glued the hearts to the string, and I think it came out really, really cute, even though I did make a mistake, but that's okay. I still think it's adorable. I love to use any kind of different materials that I maybe already have on hand. I had everything on hand to make this, just kind of sitting around my craft room. So definitely look around your craft room, see if you find anything fun, but this would be really cute in a classroom, on a mantle. I wanted to hang it along the Wecreat laser because I just thought the pinks were so darn cute together. But this was a really quick and easy craft. Now I'm going to show you some more things that you can do with this Wecreat 10-watt laser.
In my life, let me show you how it feels to roll the dice.
One of the really cool things about this laser is that you can change out the head to be a 2-watt head, which works great with metal. Plus, it's a flip laser, so you're able to actually engrave things on their side, which works great with the rotary tool. So in order to uninstall this, there's 2 screws on the side that you need to unscrew and flip it. And then there are 4 screws that hold it to the bar. You'll pull the bar forward. Mine was kind of moving as I was trying to unscrew, so you may need to hold it a little bit when you're first unscrewing. You want to loosen all of them until you can kind of undo them with your finger. And then you want to make sure that you hold on to your laser once you get down to like those last 2 screws because you don't want it to fall. You definitely don't want to break it. And once you get those 4 out, make sure not to lose those screws. I just kept them in a little cup over to the side. You're going to need to also undo this gray hose that's right here, and then this little plug in the back. I had a hard time getting that one out, but once you get it out, you can pull your laser off of your bed there. But this may take you a second to kind of squeeze that little thing and get it off. We were struggling really hard with that one. So don't worry if you struggle a little bit. It is hard to get your fingers in there. Then unplug that tube, take your laser out, and then for this one we're going to put in the 2-watt. And again, you're going to unscrew those side ones so that it is flipped so that the laser is pointing to the back. Then I want you to install and replug in that white cord. It's easier to push it in than it was to pull it out. Once you've done that, you're going to make sure that those are nice and tight on the sides because you don't want your laser to go anywhere. And then you're going to use those 4 screws that you had from your other head and put them into the 4 screw holes. Now for this, you just want to screw them in enough to hold it in for your first set, and then you can let go of your laser head, and then you're going to be able to just tighten the screws without holding on to everything right away, which makes it so easy. The 2-watt head, like I said, is great for metal. I can't wait to show you some of the things that I've made with this, but it's so great. It's a flip laser and super easy to use. With our 2-watt installed, I'm going to go ahead, turn my laser on, connect it to my computer, and I'm going to use the refresh option so that I can see the piece of jewelry. Now I do have it sitting on a white piece of paper, but it's very, very shiny, which you'll see in a second. So it really gives a lot of reflection, which can make it a little hard to line up your design. But I just took some text and I put my cat's name on this, and I'm going to line it up best I can onto the blank. I haven't found a really good way to not make it super shiny, so it's hard to see, but I'm going to zoom in on it and I can get a general idea of where that blank sits. Now, another great thing is you could trace the blank onto the white paper, then move it, auto refresh, take a look at like where it's sitting, and then you'd have to line your blank back up, but that's okay. Do whatever works best for you. Now I need to select my settings. So I kind of am going to look at some of the different metal settings. This I would consider stainless steel, but I'm going to click through a couple others just to kind of see if maybe anything else looks more like what I would use, but I'm pretty sure that this is stainless steel. So I'm going to go with that setting, and it's very, very thin at 1 millimeter. So I'm going to go ahead and click confirm. Then I want to select it and just kind of adjust the settings for my fill engrave. So I'm going to do it at a power of 97, and then I'm going to leave the speed at 10 because it's going to need to be pretty slow to make sure it gets a good send in there. Then I'm going to click send here on the screen, and I notice that it's not lined up as well as I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust that before I do anything else. I want to refresh it again just to make sure that like nothing moved. And then I'm going to move my text just a little bit because it looked a little skewed on my screen. So I do that, and I do double check the auto measure. And it's a good thing that I checked that auto measure, because sometimes what can happen is it will misread, and it misread it as like a negative measurement, which you're going to see here in just a second. So I'm going to adjust that text, and then I'm like, okay, I'm good. But then it gives me a warning about it not being a correct measurement because it's not reading it well, because it's so shiny. If you ever get that, just cancel it. We know how big it is. So I'm just going to kind of check all these different settings, make sure everything's set right. But then what I notice is where it's got this measurement up here, I need to change that back to 1 millimeter. Once I change that, it's fine, it's good to go, and I simply hit start here on the screen. Now what it's going to do is it tells me that it's going to send it to our laser, and it makes sure to tell us to make sure we close our lid, which I will do here. Then you hit the button on the front, and the laser's going to go. This only took maybe like 2 minutes tops. It was very, very quick, and it came out really, really pretty. Once it's done, you can go ahead and open up your laser and remove your blank, whatever you may have created. For this one, I just used this little bar, and I think it came out really well and really even. There is so much that you can do with this laser, so don't feel like there's not. There's so many different materials that you can cut, and I just think this one came out so cool. So obviously I showed you some wood, and I showed you some engraving on metal, but you can cut different colors of acrylic. There's only a few that really work well, and I just want to make sure to show you the back of the machine, because there are just a few plugs. There's like your power plug, your USB plug, part 4, your air assist, and then this is our vent area right here with the vent tube, and I want to show you my vent, because my vent is actually built out of dryer parts and a piece of plexiglass. So it works out really well. I put that in to the window when I'm cutting or engraving. Now, if you have any questions about this or anything else that you want to do with the laser, please let me know in the comments down below. I'll link everything I used in this tutorial down below, including the new pink laser that you can grab. It's so cute in this color. If you're into like fun aesthetic colors, this pink is absolutely gorgeous. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting.